got one more question for Davide Racco about the universe. And this is a really tricky one, I think. So please just do your best with answering it. We know that the universe is expanding. Okay, we've got evidence from astronomy that tells us that. But if the universe is expanding, you'd kind of think there's something outside that it could be expanding into. Now, but the universe is everything. So what is it that's outside the universe?
Yeah, it's not an easy question to answer, but I'll try my best. So we get this idea that the universe needs to expand into something else, because, for example, we think about inflating a balloon. In that case, we have the surface of the balloon, which is two-dimensional, and that is in a 3D world, that is the world we have around us. And we see that the balloon is really expanding into the three-dimensional space. We throw more air that pushes the surface a bit further away and so on. And so we have kind of rooted in our brain the idea that there should be some further space to expand into. The right analogy to do is the following one. Think about some small ants on the surface of the balloon. So that ant will only know about the distance of two places in the balloon. Let's say that we stick a couple of coins on the balloon. And the way for the ant to know how far they are is just to walk from one to the other. And depending on how much time it takes, it will say, yeah, okay, it's far, it's close, it's getting closer, it's getting further away. And we have to think that the same happens in our universe with light. Light is traveling between two different spots, say one planet and another planet, or two galaxies, better said. And the time it takes to travel from that galaxy to the other one tells us about how big space is. And what happens is that the universe is expanding. We have seen that now since a century. And what is expanding is really the fabric of space itself. So it's kind of stretching the balloon, but you have to remember that the only way we have to find out that the balloon is expanding is by walking on it. We have no other dimension to look at.
Okay, so we're kind of like the ants on the balloon. And if you imagine that you're an ant living on the surface of a balloon, it's almost impossible for the ant to understand what's off the balloon. So we can't really understand what the universe might be expanding into because we can't imagine anything off our balloon. That's kind of what you're saying, isn't it?
Yes, absolutely. It's part of my answer. Maybe something that I should explain better is that the analogy of the ants and the balloon could leave us the idea that there is some extra dimension. It's just that we don't see it. Actually, the point is that this is only an analogy and there is nothing wrong. It's just thinking about some rubber space that is being pulled. It's being pulled by something that only general relativity explains to us. So it's not an easy concept to understand. But if we accept that for some reason the universe is being pulled away, like places, points in the space-time are being pulled apart, then we don't need to think about some extra dimension.
Okay, so the universe is what it is, and it's getting bigger.
Yes, that's the short answer.
Perfect. Okay. Thank you so much, Davide. That's fantastic. Really, really great information all about space and the universe. Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much, Miles, for the opportunity to tell a bit about what I study and what I love to explain.